It is also notable that that the Vikings started out 1-4, but they're also now on a 4-game win streak. They got confidence over there, despite not having their quarterback. They lost Kirk Cousins. They lost Jaron Hall. Now they're on Joshua Dobbs. Joshua Dobbs might be the most underrated trade this season. This could be something that could potentially put Minnesota in a position to win this division potentially if Detroit can't hold on to this division. They're only one game behind them.
Because the word motherfucker is a noun. It describes a person, place, or thing.
It's the motherfucking pie. Crew members. What's up? What's what up? It's your boy Beanie Man, aka Mr. Headquarters.
Mr. Headquarters taught me.
You already know what it is. Week 10 of motherfucking picks. NFL season 2023. We about to get into these games, the Sunday games, part 2 edition of week 10. We already talked about the Carolina Panthers and the Chicago Bears that went head-to-head Thursday night. We already did the preview of that game. So if you want to check out that, we'll have that listed somewhere around here in on the video for you to click on if you haven't watched that yet. But we'll do a quick recap of that game in just a second. Also, a part 3 will be dropping very soon. After this episode, we'll be releasing part 3 will be the Monday Night Football matchup between the Denver Broncos and the Buffalo Bills. All right, so before we get into these games, the recap of Thursday Night Football and the preview of the Sunday games for Week 10. First thing first, make sure you give us a like and subscribe to our channel here on YouTube. We only talk sports exclusively here, only on YouTube. We don't talk about sports anywhere else just yet. With that being said, we're going to be talking sports on other platforms very, very soon. So stay tuned for that. But make sure you subscribe, join the crew, join the channel. Make sure you follow us on IG as well. That is MF'N Sports Pod. That's MF'N Sports SPORTSPOD. Check us out on the main podcast platform as well. The MF'N POD, THE MF'N POD. All right. Now, with that being said, let's get into this recap, real quick recap of the Thursday Night Football game. Ain't much to really recap. That was a shitty fucking game that they had between the Carolina Panthers and the Chicago Bears. It was Bryce Young in Carolina on their side against Tyson Bagent and the Chicago Bears with Justin Fields being hurt for this game. It was an offensive snooze fest. The Carolina didn't score one offensive touchdown. They kicked 2 field goals. They had a punt return for a touchdown. The game was pretty much a stalemate for most of the game offensively, other than Chicago scoring the one only touchdown in this game, which was done by D'Onta Foreman. Yeah, that was the only highlight. D'Onta Foreman had the only touchdown, only offensive touchdown of the entire game. Other than that, it was just a field goal fest. Chicago kicked a couple field goals, and the Panthers kicked 2 themselves. D'Onta Foreman was the only offensive threat on both sides of the field that was actually doing any kind of damage. DJ Moore did a little bit of something. And Adam Thielen had 6 catches, 42 yards. Bryce Young had 21 to 38 passing, no touchdowns, no picks, 185 yards passing. Tyson Bagent went 20 or 33, threw for 160 yards passing. D'Onta Foreman had 21 carries for 80 yards and a touchdown. DJ Moore had 5 catches for 58 yards. Other than that, there was not much else really stat-wise to really pull from this game. Like I said, the offensively, both teams just stunk up the fucking building. Chicago won the game and they covered on the spread. So if you bet that game miraculously, you got some money out of it. But I would imagine you didn't get that much. It was only minus 130. But they also was under on the total points over under. So if you bet the under on the points, you won that as well. It went under the 38 over under goal that they have for this game. So with that being said, that's it for that game. The Bears won 16-13. Put that motherfucker to bed. We ain't talking about that shit no more. The Bears advanced to 3-7. The Panthers regressed down to 1-8 and are the worst team in the league. So with that being said, that's it for that shit. We're done for that game. We ain't talking about that shit no more. All right. So next up, we have the 4-5 Indianapolis Colts taking on the 2-7 New England Patriots live, coming straight early in the fucking morning on Sunday at a 8:15. I think it's an 8:15 kickoff in the morning on Sunday. They'll be playing in Germany. God knows why they're playing any more games over there. But the first game that they had last week was fire. They had the Dolphins and Chiefs who tore the motherfucking place up over there. So the first game being over there in Germany was fire, to say the least. But unfortunately, they're getting this snooze fest game that's coming up in between the Colts and Patriots. The Colts, like I said, are 4-5. They're 5-4 against the spread. This game is looking like currently -2. The Patriots are underdogs at home by 2, even though it's at a neutral site. They are the proverbial home team. So the Colts are favored by 2 in this game. The over-under is 43. This is a game that I would probably skip. I will not be waking up early to watch this fucking game. There's nothing really of noteworthy to really watch in regards to this game. I don't want to see Mac Jones. I do not want to see Gardner Minshew. I've seen enough of them. Anthony Richardson, we already know he's out, pretty much out for the season for the most part, we believe. They have a couple of injuries for this game. You have Josh Downs, Alec Pierce. Both the receivers for the Colts are questionable for this game, but they are expected to play, as well as on the New England side. They have a lot of guys listed on their injury report, but that's how they normally do it. Demario Douglas is the one notable guy that is on their injury report that is listed as questionable, but is expected to play. So with that being said, this game, like I said, is not very interesting at all, other than the fact that they're playing in another location outside the U.S. This fantasy outlook is just anybody who, if you have any fantasy players from this team, either one of these teams, God help you, because both of these two teams are in the bottom 5 offensively. They're one of the worst 2 teams, even though the Colts are 4-5. Recently, they have been a little bit better with Gardner Minshew at helm, but they are still one of the worst teams in the league, and both are pretty bad defensively as well. So I'm expecting a Colts victory here. Gardner Minshew has been looking pretty decent for them. He's a nice backup for them. If things don't work out for Anthony Richardson, he is a good backup quarterback, or at least a stopgap quarterback until they get to where they believe. I think Anthony Richardson will be fine though. He played pretty decent when he was healthy. So I expect them to bounce back when he comes back. I mean, as you can see, they're doing pretty well with him being hurt. Zaire Franklin is also listed as questionable for this game as well. He was also at one point leading the league in tackles before he got injured, missed last week. Both teams are at weird points in the season. The Patriots are coming off a loss to the Commanders last week, 20-17. The Colts are coming off a victory off of the lowly Panthers. So the Colts are really just feasting off shitty teams right now, and they should feast off the Patriots. You get back-to-back bad teams, back-to-back weeks to build up some confidence. Perfect. If you're a Colts fan, this is perfect. You just got to just follow through and win this game. Now, if I'm a true Colts fan, I ain't gonna lie to you. Looking at the roster that we got, I would rather us be tanking. But you like to see the fight in this team to keep on fighting and pushing towards something. I'm not a fan of tanking, but I would understand it if they were tanking because they ain't got a lot of talent on this team. But with that being said, like I said, I like the Colts in this game. I think the Colts will take care of business in Germany. They will. I think they will win this game pretty easily. I don't think it's gonna be a big lopsided score, but I do think that they'll win this game pretty handily, easily, but it won't just show so much on the points. I'm taking this game, the Colts, to win 20-13. Colts. Don't take the points, go under. Also take the Colts to win this game, to win more than 2. So that's it. That's the Colts Patriots. All right. Next up, we have the 4-4 Houston Texans taking on the 5-3 Cincinnati Bengals. This is an interesting game. The Bengals have been fighting their way back at the starting. I want to say it was 0-3 at one point. It was, or 1-3 or something like that. They started really, really badly, and they have fought their way back to a 2 games above 500. Houston far exceeding expectations for a rookie coach and rookie quarterback. I like this team over there in Houston, what they're building over there. They finally found something in both a quarterback and a head coach. D'Amico Ryans looks like he is leading those young guys out there. And CJ Stroud looks like he should have been a number 1 quarterback, the number 1 overall pick in this draft. But I digress. So the Bengals are -6.5 for this game, and the over-under is 47, which is understandable because of the offensive threat that the Bengals and Houston both possess. Bengals have the number 3 ranked offense in the league, as well as Houston is a top 15 offense as well. They're ranked 13th. Now, as far as defense, these both two teams are kind of leave a lot to be desired. They kind of in the middle of the pack. So I can understand why they would think that this should be a fairly high offensive game here. I am surprised to see Cincinnati favored by damn near a touchdown. That is surprising. But that kind of shows that the Super Bowl aspirations for this Cincinnati team is either bust or win. So this is going to be a good game. I think this should be a very good game. Should be high scoring. Should be a high scoring game on top of that. Now, as far as injuries, both sides have a few injuries of note. Cincinnati will be without T. Higgins and Sam Hubbard. And as well as it's looking like Josh Topu will not play as well. Now, on the Texans side, you got a lot of injuries on their side. You got Andrew Beck, the fullback, Nico Collins, the receiver, Kamimi Fairburn, the kicker, Jake Hansen, Brevin Jordan, Damian Pierce, Henry Toto, and Jimmy Ward are all out, with Robert Woods also being questionable. So they got a shitload of injuries on their end. I can understand why they are so heavily underdogged in this game. So it's a big step up for them. They're gonna be swinging hard. They're gonna be swinging up. So they definitely got to come out of this. And on top of that, they're on the road in Cincinnati. So it is a big tough task for a rookie head coach and quarterback to come out of this facing a team with a lot of experience like Cincinnati. Also, Jamar Chase is questionable as well, but he is expected to play. Now, as far as the standings, Cincinnati is 5-3. Cincinnati is 5-3 in their division. That's how fucking solid the AFC North is. They're dead last in their division. They're tied for second technically with the Steelers and Browns at 5-3, but they lose all the tiebreakers and they're currently the last team in the division. Now, a lot of teams wish they were 5-3 right now in the league right now, including our Saints. But on the other side of the spectrum, you got the Houston Texans in the AFC South, who are second in their division, with only the Colts and Titans right behind them. So they could kind of afford to lose this game and still kind of not be too far off track. But you want to win this game if you're Houston. You don't want to lose this game because of the fact that the AFC North might have all their teams come out their division and make the playoffs. That's just facts. That could potentially happen. So you want to make sure that you're holding up your end of the bargain and make sure that you can secure your playoff spot. And you secure that spot by taking care of this game with an upset win if you can, if you're Houston. So going back to week 9, both of these teams had some interesting games. They're both coming off some wins. Cincinnati beat the Bills in a surprising win. A lot of people had the Bills winning that game. I didn't. I had the Bengals winning that game, as they should, as I picked that one. Also, the Texans took care of the Bucks. I was wrong about that game. The Bucks took care of business. I was wrong. They won that game 39-37 at home against the Bucks. So both teams coming off wins. But like we said, both teams are dealing with a few injuries, but the Houston Texans are dealing with a lot more than the Bengals. So with that being said, that alone, with them being at home, Cincinnati being at home, I'm going to take Cincinnati to win this game 27-20. Cincinnati wins this game. I think it's a close game, though. I don't think that Cincinnati is just going to completely run away with this game. I think Cincinnati could potentially even be on upset alert with this game. So I will be watching out for this game. And if this game is on CBS, I'm watching this mug at noon. I'm watching this game, definitely. This is a must-see, much-watch game. So make sure y'all check it out. With that being said, let me know what y'all picks is in the comment section down below on this one. What y'all think? Potential game of the week. Bengals, Texans, week 10. Let me know in the comment section. All right. Next up, we got the 3-5 Green Bay Packers taking on the 5-3 Pittsburgh Steelers, who are favored by 3.5 at home. The over-under is 39. A game where the Packers are coming out of the NFC North, third place in their division, but also coming off a win against the Los Angeles Rams, dominating them in week 9. Going up against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh coming off a win as well over on Thursday Night Football in week 9 against the Tennessee Titans, 20-16. So, like I said, both teams coming off of victories from the week 9. The Steelers are tied for second in their division in the AFC North, the best division in football. Both of these teams definitely have two different types of makeups. They're going in two different types of directions. The Packers are kind of rebuilding. The Steelers are they're trying to find themselves. They look like they should be a playoff team this season. They've been playing a lot better this year. Their defense is close to being dominant this year. Very, very close to being dominant. With that being said, though, let's take a deeper look into the analytics. Both teams are kind of in the middle of the pack when it comes to offense and defense. The Steelers are ranked 14th in defense and 14th in offense. So they're kind of like right in the middle of the league right now. So they're looking at like a wild card team right now. Now with the Packers, though, the Packers have the 20th ranked offense and the 18th ranked defense. So they're deemed. Now, the only difference here is that they have some key injuries on this Packers team, whereas the Steelers don't have as many as well. So the Steelers only have 2 guys out for this game. Monterius Adams at defensive tackle and Minkah Fitzpatrick at safety will both miss this game. Now, on the Packers side of the ball, they're going to potentially miss Jair Alexander. Again, he's doubtful for this game, so most likely he will not play. Now, there's nobody in this game that is officially out for the Packers as of yet, but they do have a shitload of guys that are questionable, such as Kenny Clark, Rudy Ford, Josh Myers, John Runyon, to name a few. So with that being said, this game is being played in Pittsburgh. Jordan Love looked a lot better than he had been looking in the previous weeks. Kenny Pickett has picked up business as well as Najee Harris. So I like Pittsburgh in this game. I think Pittsburgh should take care of business in this game. They got George Pivens. Ended up being able to play last week against the Titans in a last-minute decision. They look like the team to beat potentially over in the AFC South, other than the Ravens. I don't know. It's pretty jam-packed over there. So with this game, though, I'm going to call Pittsburgh to win this game over Green Bay. Green Bay has been a bit of a big disappointment for me. I thought they was going to be a much better team this season. But I'm calling Pittsburgh to win this game. I'm going under on the points for this one as well. I'm going to call Pittsburgh to win 24-17 at home against the Packers. Call that not a lock, but I'm definitely calling the Steelers to win this game. So with that being said, make sure y'all leave your comments in the section below who y'all think gonna win this game, the Green Bay Packers or the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let me know in the comment section. All right, next up, we have another bum bowl up. We have a pair of two teams that both 3-5, and the Tennessee Titans taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are favored by 1.5. Now, this has been an interesting matchup because, one, I thought Tampa Bay was a better team than what they have been putting out. They have a lot of talent. They actually have a lot of talent on their team. They are just missing that one particular piece, and that particular piece is probably a quarterback and maybe a running back. But with that being said, you also have the Tennessee Titans on the other end of the spectrum. Both of these teams are kind of are two different types of 3-5s. Now, both of these two teams are both not very good on offense or defense. On paper, if you look at Tampa Bay, you would think to yourself, like, damn, why are they so bad? They are terrible in the run defense. They're terrible in the pass defense. Their run defense is a little bit better, but their pass defense is really bad. On the Tennessee Titans side, they are like really fucking bad. They've been known to have a better defense in the previous years. Right now, they are just not that good. Point blank, period. Now, for this game, you have Will Levis, who has been anointed as the new starting quarterback for this team. Ryan Tannehill has been officially put on notice that he will not be put back in the starting lineup, even when he is healthy to return. I think that's the right move because of the fact that, I think Will Levis tied his touchdown totals in his first start with 4 touchdowns. Then Ryan Tannehill had all fucking season long that he actually got a chance to play in. I think he played in like 6 or 7 games. So, and I know that's DJ's favorite quarterback, but I think it's time for Ryan Tannehill moving on from this team probably to another team next season, or just be a future backup to Will Levis. On the other side of the spectrum, you got Baker Mayfield, another EJ to DJ favorite, but I am surprised by this Tampa Bay team. I thought they would be a little bit better than what they've been putting out. They're looking like the third best team in the division in the NFC South. Currently, right now, let me pull up their standings to see where they are currently sitting. They will be taking on the Tennessee Titans in the AFC South, who are dead last in their division. And I believe that the Bucks are third. Yep, they're third in their division. They're 3-5 in their division, right behind the Falcons and the Saints. So both teams aren't really going anywhere. But the fact of the matter is that Will Levis starting for the Titans is kind of in the right direction. We know that Baker Mayfield is probably not the long-term solution, or at least the money that they're going to really, really invest in Tampa Bay moving forward. So it's kind of unfortunate because the Tampa Bay really looked like they was going to actually be doing something. Now, this is me being unbiased, not a Saints fan, me saying that. Just looking at them as a team with talent and all that shit. Now, as a Saints fan, I can give a fuck less. They get what they deserve. Tampa Bay sold their soul to get Tom Brady over there and win now, and also with Gronk and those times that they came right after James Winston and all that good shit. They won that Super Bowl, and then now they're gonna have to be terrible for a little while. But as far as for this game, like I said before, the Bucks are 1.5 favorite. The over-under is 39. Now, as far as injuries for this game is a little different. All right. So we're gonna pull up the injuries for both teams. So Tennessee and Tampa Bay. Tennessee, Ryan Tannehill is still listed as technically being questionable. Treylon Burks, receiver, is out. Cornerback Sean Murphy Bunting is out. Left tackle Nicholas Pettit-Free is out. Daniel Brunskill out. Mike Brown out. Now, for the Tampa Bay side, you have just one guy that's going to be listed as out currently at this moment, Josh Hayes, cornerback, and guard Matt Fear is listed as doubtful. Now, they have a whole bunch of other players that are listed as questionable, such as Carlton Davis, Jamel Dean, Logan Hall, Trey Palmer, just to name a few. All right. So this game, in my opinion, I can see this odd being moved closer and closer to a pick'em, closer to Sunday as it approaches. I'm recording this on a Friday. So currently right now it's -1.5. So I think that on paper, the Bucks should win this game at home. The Bucks should win this game at home. But I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say I think the Titans are going to win this game. Now, obviously, they lost the Thursday night game last week in Week 9 against the Steelers on a short week with a brand new rookie quarterback starting his second game. Cool. They have a whole mini bye week, short mini bye week to prepare for this game. I think Tennessee will cause an upset on the road to win this game. Tennessee takes this game over Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay continues to fluster and flame the fuck out. I'm calling Tennessee to win this game. Don't take the points. Tennessee to win this game 20-16 Tennessee. Book it. All right. Next up is the motherfucking game of the week. The motherfucking game of the week. Coming up, we have the 5-3 San Francisco 49ers rolling on the road to face off against the 6-2 Jacksonville Jaguars. This is a weird game to bet. The 49ers are favored on the road by 3. Now, San Francisco has been flailing just a little bit lately. They've been fucking around a little bit. Josh Purdy has not been looking like the dog that they thought he was going to be this season. Now, if he was definitely trying to make a big bag in the offseason coming after this season, he's definitely fucking that up. They were off in Week 9. The 49ers were off in Week 9. And let's see here. They played, their last game was in Week 8 against the Bengals where they lost 31-17. So they had a little time to kind of prepare for this game, get their head right, get their mind right. Now, Jacksonville, let's pull up Jacksonville's last game as well. Let's see here. Jacksonville, here we go. So Jacksonville's last game was also in Week 8. So both teams are coming off a bye. Jacksonville last game was against the Steelers where they won on the road 20-10. So Jacksonville has had some good games here and there. All right. So let's go. Matter of fact, let's kind of go over to some of the games that Jacksonville has played so far. So week 1, they took care of the Colts, 31-21. Then week 2 lost to the Chiefs, 17-9. Week 3 lost to the Texans, 37-17. Week 4 beat the Falcons 23-7. Then they beat the Bills 25-20. Then they beat the Colts again 37-20. Beat the Saints 31-24, and then the Steelers 20-17. So they have some quality wins in there. They ain't just been beating up on bad teams. So Jacksonville is no slouch. Jacksonville is no slouch at all. All right. So let's pull up the games that San Francisco has played. All right. So San Francisco also played the Steelers. They took care of the Steelers 30-7 in week 1. Then they beat their division rivals in week 2, the Rams, 30-23. Then they beat the Giants. Nobody cares about that one. They beat the Giants week 3. Then they beat the Cardinals week 4. The Cowboys week 5, 42-10. That was a big statement win. Then they lost to the Browns, then lost to the Vikings, then lost to the Bengals. So currently right now, they're on a 3-game losing streak. Now, 2 of those games were on the road. 1 game was at home, the last game of week 8 against the Bengals. So what's the deal with the 49ers? Before we get into what we think is wrong with them, let's get into the numbers. Number 1 ranked defense off top for San Francisco. The defense for the Jaguars ranked 12th. Now, both teams are pretty evenly matched offensively, with the Niners being ranked 10th and the Jaguars being ranked 11th. So if you're looking at it on paper as far as talent, I can see why the 49ers are favored. Now, the 49ers are 4-3-1 against the spread, right? And the Jaguars are 6-2 against the spread. So this is like I said, this is a very interesting matchup. Both teams, and this is a early kickoff game. This is a noon game, 12 o'clock game, Sunday. So this is an interesting one. I want to know what y'all think in the comment section below. Who y'all think gonna win this game? But who y'all think gonna win this game? This is a big game. This could potentially be a Super Bowl matchup later down the line come February. But I do think San Francisco is not as good as they potentially might think they are, particularly at the quarterback position. Trevor Lawrence, I said it before, I was fucking wrong. I was wrong. Wrong. I had Jacksonville ranked way lower than I thought they actually were. They are way better than what they are. Currently, I'm looking at a power ranking that Jacksonville is the 9th best team, with the 49ers being 5th. Now, let's get into some injury reports. Now, offensive guard Aaron Banks for the 49ers is out for this game, as well as Drake Jackson, defensive end, with everybody else being questionable game time decisions, such as Trent Williams at offensive tackle, cornerback Darrell Lutter, cornerback Samuel Womack, defensive end Robert Beal, and linebacker Demetrius Flanagan-Fowles. Now, on the other side of the ball, on the other side of the field, you got the Jaguars, who don't have as many players as hurt. You have receiver Zay Jones is going to be out for this game, and then everybody else is questionable game time decision. Is cornerback Tyson Campbell, safety Andre Cisco, guard Ezra Cleveland, and safety Daniel Thomas. So now we got all that shit out the way. Who do we think will win this game and why? So defensively, I think this will be the best defensive matchup that the Jaguars will face. Now, it's not like they haven't faced good teams with good defenses yet. You know what I'm saying? So they definitely have played teams with good defense. So Now, I talked about some of the teams that the Jaguars faced already, right? So the best defenses that they played so far was teams like the Steelers, the Saints, um, and secretly the Chiefs defense has been actually pretty good this year, if you look at the numbers. So looking at all that put into perspective, the Saints and Steelers defense alone are pretty solid defenses. The Saints is a top 10 defense, and the Steelers is a top 13 defense. So like they put up points against teams that should have shut their offense down. So they've proven that they're pretty good. Defensively, the Jags defense is underrated. I'm actually calling an upset. I like Jacksonville in this game. I like Jacksonville in this game, not only because of the fact that they're at home, but because of the fact that the 49ers are currently on a losing streak. They currently have Deebo Samuel was hurt for this game. He is listed as probable and will play. Now, I will say I'm a little skeptical with my pick because of the fact that Deebo Samuel is coming back. They also have no real main injuries to none of their key guys that's gonna be playing in this game, right? Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel will be playing. George Kittle, Brock Purdy will be playing. Okay, so it's not like they won't have the full core on offense back, ready to go. So I'm just saying that I think the Jacksonville defense will hold San Francisco's offense just a little bit. I think their offense is held back slightly because of Brock Purdy. If they had an elite quarterback or at least an above average quarterback, I think San Francisco would be dominant. That's how good they are defensively, and that's how good they are with the key players that they have on offense. So, with that being said, I'm calling Jacksonville to win this game. Jacksonville to win this game after being 3-point underdogs at home, 45 over under. I'm calling the over. I think some points going to be scored in this game a little bit, right? I'm calling the Jacksonville Jaguars to win this game 28-23 over San Francisco. Jacksonville wins this game. Comment in the comment section below. Let me know what y'all think about the game of the week. The motherfucking game of the week. Who y'all think gonna win? Let me know in the comment section. All right. Next up, we have the 5-3 Cleveland Browns taking on the 7-2 Baltimore Ravens. EJ's second team, surprisingly. All right. So this is a good matchup. This was almost the game of the week. If it wasn't for the San Francisco Jacksonville game. But this is another good matchup, divisional rivalry here. AFC North on the line. The rematch. The first game, Baltimore dominated 20-3 over Cleveland. Cleveland definitely got to bounce back from that shit. 28-3. That was back on October 1st. Fast forward, that was in Cleveland. Now we're back playing this game in Baltimore. Now, Vegas thinks the same because they have Baltimore favored by 6.5. The over-under is 38.5. And if you look at the metrics for this game, it jumps out big time. The Ravens are the 5th ranked offense in the league, and the defense is ranked 6th. On the other side of the field, you got the Browns with the 3rd ranked defense, but the 32nd ranked offense. Dead last, the Browns have the worst ranked offense categorically. Let that sink in again. The dead last Cleveland Browns offensively. All right. Deshaun Watson is back. Like we said, we talked about it early on in the season. Cleveland has not been that good. Has not looked that good. They also lost their running back for the year. They had to bring back Kareem Hunt. I believe their starting running back right now is Jerome Ford. On the other side, I feel like both teams don't really have a run game, in my opinion. Now, Baltimore has a damn good offense with Lamar Jackson running the ball, throwing the ball. You also got Odell Beckham, Zay Flowers, just to name a few. Also, you have Mark Andrews at tight end as well. But like Cleveland has key players on their side. You know what I'm saying? They got Amari Cooper, Elijah Moore, David Njoku. So it's not like they don't have playmakers on their side, and even Kareem Hunt coming off the bench. So it's not like they don't have players, Deshaun Watson. So they have players on their team. It's just all about them executing. Now, the defense is top notch with Myles Garrett on the other side of the field, on the other side of the ball for Cleveland leading the way on that side. So it's not like it's going to be a walk in the park. This is going to be a damn good game. And I don't think there's going to be a lot of points. It's going to be a little cold. I think the temperature is going to be real cold out there in Baltimore. So it's going to be a real smash mouth football game. It's going to be AFC North football all the way. With that being said, one last thing I got to go through is the injuries real quick. Ain't that many injuries on both sides of the ball. Marcus Goodwin is all role players that's going to be either impacted by this. Marcus Godwin, receiver for the Browns, and offensive tackle DeJuan Jones will not play. With David Bell, the receiver, is out as well. So on the Baltimore Ravens side, nobody's out, but they have a few players that's questionable. You got running back Keaton Mitchell, cornerback Jalen Armour-Davis, cornerback Marlon Humphrey, and offensive tackle Morgan Moses are all questionable. So with that being said, with all the things that we know about this game leading up to it, quality wins on both sides of the field for both teams leading up to this game. I like Baltimore in this game. I think Baltimore should win this game, not only win this game, but win it handily. I think Cleveland will not be able to offensively, unless they can step some shit up with Deshaun Watson coming back recently. If they can step their game up, I can maybe see them winning this game, maybe, but I just don't see it. I don't see it. The Ravens are just that damn good, and they were one of my top teams to make the Super Bowl this year. So I'm sticking true to that. I'm calling Baltimore to win this game. 20-10, Baltimore wins this game. All right. Next up, we have the 4-5 Atlanta Falcons taking on the 1-8 Arizona Cardinals, the worst team in the division, worst team in the league, along with sharing that title with the New England Patriots. Arizona is at home for this game. Atlanta is favored by 1.5. The over/under for some reason is 43.5. That's kind of high, but let's see. Let's take a look at these metrics. No surprise here. Arizona is dead last in almost every category when it comes to power rankings. They're the worst defensive team ranked in the league. They're 23rd in offense, while the Falcons are 25th in offense and 22nd in defense. Now, the only interesting thing about this, though, is that both teams have been kind of playing quarterback musical chairs. Now, this will be the very first start for Kyler Murray on the season. So this game is a little bit different. Now, on the other side of the spectrum, you have Taylor Heineke getting his second start of the season. Now, it's kind of looking like they're going to roll with Tyler Heineke for the rest of the year, the veteran quarterback, over Desmond Ridder, who started majority of the season. Now, I can understand it a little bit to a degree, but I'm going to get into that in a second. I'm going to get into that why I believe that is. But first, let's get into this injury report for this game. The injury report for this game, you do have Michael Wilson, receiver for the Arizona Cardinals, who is questionable. You also have James Conner, questionable running back. Offensive tackle DJ Humphries, questionable. Will Hernandez, guard, questionable. Offensive lineman Tyson Colin and running back Amari DeMarcado are both out for this game. On the Atlanta side, not as much. Two guys are out, cornerback D. Alford and receiver Mac Hollins, and defensive tackle David Onyemata is questionable. So I mentioned before that I knew why Taylor Heineke will be moving forward as a quarterback for the Falcons. And the reason I believe is because of the fact that they believe that they can actually win this division now with them sitting at 4-5 and only a game behind the Saints. And following this game against Arizona, if they take care of business, as most people think that they will have a matchup, their first matchup against the Saints in week 11, which will set the stage. If Atlanta can take care of business this week and next week against the Saints, will put them in full first place by themselves. So I can understand why they're going with the veteran quarterback to move forward to say, hey, all right, I think we can win this division. That's what they think. Now, on the other side of the spectrum, you got Kyler Murray trying to pick up the pieces of a broken season, a lost season. He was injured for most of the year with a knee injury. So we'll see and monitor how he plays in this game. What better game to come back to a mediocre defense that you're going to be facing that you should be able to carve up. But on the other side of the spectrum, your team is dealing with a lot of damn injuries, including one of your starting receivers and start backup running back James Conner. So I'm kind of confused on this game. I'm going to go ahead and pick the Falcons because we just haven't seen Kyler Murray. We don't know what he looks like. The team surrounding him is not that good. They're dead last in defense. Tyler Heineke should light this game up. And I say that because Tyler Heineke has in the past have looked like a poor man's version of Ryan Fitzpatrick. He kind of gets up for these shitty games like this and he kind of dominates, but when he goes up against a real defense, he gets his ass whooped. He did that. We seen this in Washington when he was playing for the Commanders. So I think that the Falcons have a lot more incentive to want to win this game. I think the Cardinals at this point just want to see a good game come out of Kyler Murray going forward and moving forward to see if he can actually operate this offense with that newly operated knee. So with that being said, I'm calling the Falcons to win this game. I'm calling the Falcons to win this game 21-17. Falcons should take care of this game. Bet the under on the points, on the over-under, but take the Falcons to win this game with the points. I think there was -1.5. Let me double check. Yes, -1.5. Take that. I would bet that and bet the under on the over-under on the points, total points. Now, let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. If not, I understand. It's a bum bowl game, 4-5. Atlanta should win this game. But, we've seen Arizona upset teams before early in the season like Dallas. So that's it for this game. All right. Next up, we have the 6-2 Detroit Lions. Second game of the 3 o'clock schedule on Sunday. The 6-2 Detroit Lions taking on the 4-4 Los Angeles Chargers Clippers. And this is an interesting game. The Chargers are underdogs at home to the Lions, who are favored by 2.5. Now, injury report-wise, there are no notable injuries for the Chargers. They are lucky as fuck. Now, on the Lions side, they don't have as many injuries as well. They only have one guy that's out. Offensive guard Viatali is out. Questionable is offensive tackle Dan Skipper and receiver Donovan Peoples-Jones. And doubtful is defensive end Levi Wazuruki. Now, as far as the metrics for this game, the Lions automatically jump out as a top 10 offense. They're number 8 in the league. 15th ranked defense, whereas the Chargers are the 15th ranked offense and 13th ranked defense. Now, the biggest thing that jumps out at me is when I look at the schedule of these games that these teams have played in the past. Now, the Chargers have had a fairly decent schedule. They're kind of similar to what the Vikings, the Lions have faced. They faced a lot of bottom tier teams. They played the Titans, the Vikings, the Raiders, the Bears, the Jets, teams that weren't as good. Now they have played teams like the Chiefs, the Dolphins, and the Cowboys, to name other few, right? Now they're 4-4 with their record. They've hung in there with some of these teams. The only game that they really, really didn't like they belong was probably the Chiefs game when they got blown out 31-17. That's the only game that they got really, really embarrassed. Now, on the other side of the spectrum, though, I look at the quality of wins from the Chargers. At least the Chargers got wins over teams with sub 500, either 500 or better. They've beaten the Vikings, who are 4-4. I believe the Jets are 4-4. I had to double check, but that's it. They are kind of identical with the Lions in this same aspect, where the Lions have not beaten anybody other than the Chiefs week 1 with a winning record. Let me repeat that again. The Lions have not beaten not one team with a winning record other than the Chiefs in week 1. That was it. And they stole that game 21-20. Other than that, they feasted on teams or either gotten embarrassed by better quality teams like the Seahawks. Not that great of a team. I mean, they're leading they're right there in the NFC West, right behind the neck and neck with the 49ers. And the Ravens completely embarrassed them. And then they pretty much got Josh McDaniels fired after that ass whooping that they put on the Raiders last week and week 8, because they were off last week. So with that being said, I'm leaning slightly towards the Chargers for this game. And the only reason why I say that is because the Lions aren't really battle tested. The teams that they really should have went toe-to-toe with, they've gotten their ass kicked. The Seahawks and the Ravens are the biggest, and the Chiefs. The Chiefs, Seahawks, and Ravens, they're 1 out of 3. And as far as games of just trying to show up and compete. Now, I think the Chargers are a better team, in my opinion. I'm still not proven, and I'm still not sold on this Lions team. They have pretty much a free giveaway in their division. The Vikings are all over the place. Injuries all over the place. Justin Jefferson, Kirk Cousins. They're how they keep winning is a surprise to me. The Packers are a mess. That just leaves who am I missing out? I'm missing out somebody. You got the Lions, Packers, Vikings. Let's pull up their standings here. And the Bears. Oh, good. That's why I forgot. The Bears. So they pretty much have full control right now, even though the Vikings are on 4-game win streak. They should win this division. The Lions, the last time the Lions were 6-2, they ended up missing the playoffs. I think that was like 20 years ago or something like that. I had to pull that up. I'll have that facts in for week 3, for part 3 of this episode. But the last time they were 6-2, they ended up flopping and going 2-6 the rest of the way and missing the playoffs back when it was just 16 games. So I'm a little skeptical about this Lions team still. I want to see them win some more games before I can say that they are legit. I'm not sold on these Lions yet. With that being said, I'm still not sold on Justin Herbert. But I'm going to say that Justin Herbert and the Chargers will win this game at home in Los Angeles, take care of business. The Lions still need a quality win. I think this will be a decent quality win if they win this game, but I'm going to say that they're going to lose this game. The Lions lose and will be neck and neck with the Vikings for that NFC North title. I'm calling the Chargers to win this game 27-24, Chargers at home. Let me know in the comment section who y'all think going to win this game. Lions, Chargers, who y'all got? All right, next up, we have the 2-7 New York Giants taking on the 5-3 Dallas Cowboys in Dallas. The Cowboys are favorite. I think this might be the highest spread total of the season so far. But Dallas is favorite by 17. Dallas is favored by 17 points. The Giants are in all kinds of trouble. Daniel Jones is gone for the season. The over-under for this game is 39. The last time they faced off was week 1, where the Giants got their ass whipped 40-0. They've only picked up 2 wins on the season against the Commanders and the Cardinals. Now, on the other side of the spectrum, the Cowboys have been playing pretty good. Even though they lost last week to the Eagles, they had a good game overall. They had a good game. Just the Eagles is a better team. Dallas is actually a pretty good team this season. They just happen to be in the same division with the Philadelphia Eagles, who just might be the best team in the NFC. So, unfortunately for them, they have to play behind them. And they should take care of business in this game. Now, we'll go over the injury report real fast. But first, we're going to go over the metrics. Dallas is a top 10 team when you look at the stats across the board. They're number 4th ranked defense. No surprise there. Number 9 ranked offense. It's funny if you listen to Dallas talk radio, or if you listen to Dallas fans, or if you listen to people that just hate the Cowboys, such as myself. But you would think that Dak Prescott was one of the worst quarterbacks in the league, the way they talk about him. But let's be serious here. Dallas ain't gonna just let Dak go ever unless they know they got something better, either in a draft pick to pick somebody with a potential to be good or great, or they have a veteran quarterback that they have an eye on. And I don't see none of that happening. Dallas, unless Dallas goes out and trade him for a number 1 overall pick, a top 10 pick, it ain't happening. They may not be happy with his overall performance, but guess what? Overall, the league quarterbacks have been either getting hurt or just playing out average or shitty. Quarterback play this season has been down across the board. Now, having a quarterback like Dak in this era of quarterback in the league is a luxury. So you hold on to a quarterback like that caliber. He is a top 10 quarterback in this league. Maybe even I'm going to say he's top 10. I'm going to leave it at that. I would love for somebody to name me 22 quarterbacks that's better than him in the league. Name me 22 quarterbacks that's better than Dak Prescott. I'll wait. I will wait. Now, this is coming from someone who is not a Cowboys fan. I'm going to make sure that it's known through. I am not a Cowboys fan. Everybody knows that knows me. All right? Now, on the other side of the spectrum, you got, like I said before, Daniel Jones out for the year. In comes Tommy DeVito, the most New York fucking name there is to have as a guy to be playing quarterback for the Giants. I swear, if the Giants were to find a guy in Tommy DeVito to be their guy for the future, they would just gravitate to this guy naturally in New York with that last name. But anyway, I digress. So the defense is ranked 23rd. The offense is ranked 27th. Saquon Barkley, they're gonna probably stack the box. I expect Dallas to whoop that ass in this game. I don't think they're gonna win by 40 again, but or even cover that 17-point spread. But what I will say is that 17-point odd. But what I will say is I do think that they will win this game for the most part handily. I just don't see them being in any kind of concern or trouble in this game. I think Dallas should win this game 30 to 17. Dallas wins this game 30 to 17. Dallas. Let me know what y'all comments in the section below. What y'all think moving forward? Do y'all think Dallas can be a potential threat in the NFC to get to the Super Bowl, or is Philly in San Francisco just too much overpowering them moving forward? All right. That's it for this game. Let me know what y'all thought. Giants, Cowboys. All right. Next up, we have the 4-5 Washington Commanders taking on the 5-3 Seattle Seahawks. Seattle at home is favored by 6. Over under on the points is 44.5. I am surprised by this spread. I expected Seattle to be favored, but I didn't expect them to be favored by almost a touchdown. I don't think Seattle has been playing that great. They got dominated in their last game that they played against the Ravens in Week 9. Washington coming off a win. Now, it was a lackluster win, but it still was a win. It was a win over the New England Patriots, 14-7. So right now, the Commanders are still trying to fight their way through their division. They have no shot at winning their division over the Eagles over in the NFC East. The Eagles are 8-1. They're 4-5 at third, right behind the Cowboys. Now, on the other side of the spectrum, you have the Seahawks, who are tied for first in the NFC West, with the 49ers losing 3 straight games and them losing 1 last week to the Ravens. So despite them losing last week, they still are in a great position because of 49ers sliding like they have been sliding. And with the 49ers with a big matchup this week, they have a potential to take over the NFC West going into this week. I like Seattle, but let me tell you why. Excuse me. Let me get into these other factors first. All right. So as far as injury-wise, not a lot of injuries are listed. Only one person is listed as out for this game in total. You got offensive guard Anthony Bradford, who's out for personal reasons. Everybody else is questionable. That's for Seattle. Jordan Brooks, linebacker. DJ Dallas, running back. Kenny McIntosh, running back. And tight end Kobe Parkinson are all questionable. On the Commander side, just one guy, Curtis Samuel, the starting receiver, is listed as questionable. That's it. Now, on the metric side, you have the power rankings where Seattle is ranked 12th on offense, 11th on defense, 19th ranked offense for the Commanders, 19th ranked defense. Very, very alarming if you're a Commanders fan and you just now recently got a new offensive coordinator in the offseason. Sam Howell is leading the way for the Commanders, as well as Geno Smith leading the way for the Seahawks. Both quarterbacks leave a lot to be desired out there on the field. Geno Smith has not been as great as last year. Sam Howell is getting the first start of his career this season with the Commanders. So he's at times looked very good, and then there's times where he's looked pretty mediocre. This is a good defensive squad in Seattle. They just traded for Leonard Williams last week from the Giants. So that was a big pickup for them on the defensive line to stop the running game of other teams. Now, you shouldn't be able to have to really expect too much of a run game from the Commanders because Brian Robinson is not that big of a threat at the running back position. On the same side of the spectrum, you have Kenneth Walker for the Seahawks, also not a big threat on the rushing end on their side either. So it's not a game that's going to be really lighting up the scoreboard, I don't think. But you still have DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett on the other side of the spectrum in Seattle, who can light up the scoreboard if they get hot. So, and the Commanders' defense ain't like it's world beaters over there. So I am expecting the Seahawks to come out swinging early, to be aggressive, and to try to take that number one spot in the NFC West and hold on to it as long as they can. As long as they keep winning on their side, doesn't matter what San Francisco does currently, they are tied and they will get another rematch against them later on in the season. So, with that being said, I'm picking Seattle to win this game. I'm calling it 20-17. I ain't going crazy, say they're going to win by a touchdown or more. I'm saying they're going to win by 3, 20-17. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. What y'all think? Commanders or Seahawks? Who you got? All right. Next up, second to last game of this episode, we have the 4-4 New York Jets taking on the Las Vegas Raiders at 4-5 for Sunday night football. The over-under is 36.5, with the Jets on the road favored by 1. Now, this is a great example of quarterback parity in the league, which I talked about earlier in the episode, where you have on one side of the field, you have Zach Wilson, and on the other side of the field, you have Aiden O'Connell. Aiden O'Connell got his rookie start, his first start of this career last week in a winning effort over the Giants. I think it was 30-6 at home, and the Jets beat themselves and let the Chargers whoop their ass 27-6 in week 9. So both teams kind of coming into this game at different types of points in their season. Zach Wilson looked fucking atrocious in this game. Man, you really don't know what type of quarterback you're going to get out of him week to week. Now, he played okay. Let me take that back. He played okay, but they didn't throw no touchdowns. He didn't throw any picks. Same thing with O'Connell. No touchdowns, no picks. Went 15-20 on his side. It's really going to come down to the defense and running the ball. Let's be real. Devontae Adams, I know he's got to be frustrated over there in Las Vegas, not being able to get him the ball. I would think the game plan coming into this game would be to get him the ball. Antonio Pierce willed them to that victory over the Giants. I think that was a great game for them to rally up and take care of business. But now they're going up against a top 5 defense in the league. Now, the other good thing is they're going against a bottom 5 offense. So the Jets have got to kind of play catch up on the defensive side, and hopefully they got to run the ball and play defense with Breece Hall in this defense to keep the Raiders out of this game. Now, on the other side of the spectrum, the Raiders defense is not that bad of a team either. Looking at the metrics, you have the Jets have this number 2 ranked defense, but the number 30th offense, while the Raiders got the 21st defense and the 17th ranked offense, middle of the road for both. So I'm going to go ahead and call the Jets to win this game. I'm going to call the Jets to win this game. I think the Jets will win this game only purely because of Breece Hall and their defense. I don't know much about Aiden O'Connell. I haven't seen that much of him besides this one game of last week where he played fairly well, but he didn't go up against the Jets defense. So I'm calling the Jets to win this game. I think this game will probably move closer to a pick 'em, closer to Sunday night. But I'm calling. Oh, wait, before I get into that, I didn't get to the injury report for this game. Hold up. Hold up. 1 second. The Jets have 3 players that's out for this game. Offensive tackle Dwayne Brown, linebacker Chaz Surratt, and offensive tackle Billy Turner. All 3 players are out. Now, on the Raiders side of the ball, they are missing. 1 player is doubtful. The other 2 are questionable. Fullback Jacob Johnson is questionable. Offensive tackle Colton Miller is doubtful. And cornerback Marcus Peters is questionable. So that doesn't really change my mind on what I'm going to pick. I think that the Jets will win this game purely off Breece Hall and their defense. Breece Hall, man, he is looking good this season, coming back off an injury from last year. A top rushing yard leader in the league this season. Good to see him running the ball again. Underrated running back in the league that nobody's really talking about, Breece Hall. So with that being said, I think the Jets will win this game. I don't think it'll be a lot of points scored in this game, but I think the Jets will win. I think the Jets take care of business. 17-14 Jets win this game on the road. But I think the Raiders have a good chance to win this game with Antonio Pierce. I think their future is bright. I like Antonio Pierce for this team. We'll see what happens with him moving forward, but I think the Jets will win 17-14. But let me know what y'all think. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. Who y'all think will win this game? The Jets, New York Jets, or the Las Vegas Raiders? Let me know. Who y'all got? All right. Next up, and finally, as always, we are Saints fans over here. Who that? Who that? Who that? We are saving the best for last. We have the New Orleans Saints at 5-4, taking on the 5-4 Minnesota Vikings in Minnesota. The Saints are favored by 2.5. Over under for the points is 40.5. This should be a very, very interesting game. Saints offense looks pedestrian, but the defense looks Super Bowl ready. On the other side of the spectrum, the Vikings have feasted on teams that they should beat, minus 1 game. People forget this team started out 1-4, 0-3, and then 1-4. Currently, right now, Kirk Cousins is out for the season. Justin Jefferson will not play in this game. At least he's stated that he will not play in this game, even though he's not listed as officially out. He is only listed as questionable. But there is a lot of injuries on the Minnesota Vikings side of the field that they will just likely miss a lot of key players on this game. So looking at the metrics, the Saints defense is ranked number 5. The offense is ranked 18th. The Vikings offense is ranked 26th, while the defense is ranked 17th. So their defense is really the thing that kind of keeps them in games a lot of times. Now, they're a bend but don't break type of defense. Kind of slightly opportunistic, which kind of helps them stay in games. Now, they're obviously not lighting up the scoreboard at all as far as like points wise or even in yards. So the Saints have been dominating certain games here and there on their side of the ball, on their side of the field when it comes to defense. We watched some of their matchups that they had early on in the season, beating up on teams like the Patriots, beating up on the Colts, Bears, just to name a few recently. But they've also lost games to the Packers, Bucks, and Texans that kind of set them back. Now, they lost games to the Jaguars, which was kind of expected, but they were also at home, but they were also underdogs. So they have in at least one victory that they should have won against the Packers. So they should be better than what their record is. They should be at least 6-3, in my opinion. The Saints should be 6-3. Now, with that being said, on this side of this ball, on this side of the spectrum, as far as injuries wise, you have Isaiah Folksy is out, defensive end. Kendry Miller, running back, is out, and Adam Prentice, fullback, is questionable. Now, I mentioned Justin Jefferson and Kirk Cousins on the Minnesota side. TJ Hawkinson is questionable. KJ Osborne, receiver, is questionable. Jaron Hall is out with a concussion, who started last week but got knocked out. Inserted came in Joshua Dobbs, who had just been traded from Arizona this in the middle of week 9, right before the trade deadline. They trade for him, bring him over. He has to come in relief in this game. Doesn't know a damn play to nothing. He knows nothing. Don't know nobody's names, receivers, running backs, offensive line, nothing. Comes into the game, throws 2 touchdowns, wins the game for them on the road against the Falcons. 31-28. Now, it is also notable that, that the Vikings started out 1-4, but they're also now on a 4-game win streak. They got confidence over there, despite not having their quarterback. They lost Kirk Cousins. They lost Jaron Hall. Now they're on Joshua Dobbs. Joshua Dobbs might be the most underrated trade this season. This could be something that could potentially put Minnesota in a position to win this division potentially if Detroit can't hold on to this division. They're only 1 game behind them. So this is a big game for the NFC because this will tell us whether or not the Saints are legitimate NFC South favorites moving forward, or if the Vikings are going to actually contend on their side as well. Now, I don't think this will impact the Saints as much of a loss if they lose this game as it will the Vikings, because they have a lot of ground to lose if they do not win this game. Now, with that being said, one thing as of note, Michael Thomas was in the news, just like Chris Olave was in the news last week with Kenner Police Department in Louisiana. He got arrested for speeding. Fast forward to week 10, 1 week later, Michael Thomas is now arrested. As of today, this morning, he was arrested from allegedly throwing a brick at someone's truck and shoving a man in Kenner as well. So back-to-back weeks, we saw Chris Olave didn't miss a game. So I don't expect Michael Thomas to miss this game either. But there will be some ramifications coming soon, I would assume, in regards to Chris Olave and with Michael Thomas. I don't think it'll be that big of a deal as far as what the punishment will be brought down, maybe a game or maybe just a fine to Chris Olave, and potentially the same thing with Michael Thomas. These are minor offenses, misdemeanors in both cases. So I don't see them being reprimanded too heavily. Maybe a game missed for both of them in the future, but I think that's where probably we will stop. So, but that is something to be of note of if the Saints decide to handle this in-house and hold him out, which I don't think that will happen. Dennis Allen is a bit of a player's coach, so I don't see any of these players missing any games internally. I say it's going to be something that the NFL is going to have to bring down if anything happens at all. And that's just a developing situation. So, with that being said, on all that being put together and everything that we've learned from everything that we know about these two teams leading up to this, the Saints should be favored in this game as they are, and they should win this game as they are, because if you look at the talent that is available, all the players that's going to actually be playing in this game, the Saints should take care of business. Saints, as a Saints fan, take care of fucking business. Derek Carr, take care of business at quarterback. Alvin Kamara, take care of business. We all believe that these guys are. There's a lot of veterans on this Saints team. It's for the most part an older team compared to most other teams in the league. So the Saints should win this game. So I'm going to call this game. The Saints going to win on the road, win this game 24-20 Saints takes this game. And I would also take the points. The over-under on the points. Saints win this game 24-20. Book it. Now, with that being said, let me know what y'all think in the comment section. Who y'all think is going to win this game? The Saints or the Vikings in this game? They're going to be playing in Minnesota. The Saints are favored by 2.5. Who y'all got? Let me know in the comment section. All right? Now, with that being said, that is all I have for this episode, for this week. Episode week 10 of the motherfucking picks episode. Part 2. Part 3 will be dropping probably the next day, Sunday night, sometime during the Sunday night football game, where I will be announcing my pick for the Monday night football game that will be taking place between the Denver Broncos and the Buffalo Bills. So with that being said, that's all the time I got for this episode, man. You already know what it is. It's week 10 of the motherfucking NFL season. This has been motherfucking picks. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Check us out on IG, motherfucking Sports Pod, MF'N Sports Pod. Check us out over there. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel, join the crew, support the channel. We only talking sports on YouTube so far, moving forward. That's going to change in the near future. So make sure you stay tuned and hit that notification bell so you stay up to date on all our movement on the podcast. And make sure you check out our main podcast show that will be dropping an episode this coming week. But you have to be subscribed not only to the YouTube channel, but also maybe to a couple of our audio podcast platforms that we are located on, such as Spotify platform, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, just to name a few. All right. With that being said, you already know what it is. I'm your motherfucking host, Beanie Man, a.k.a. Mr. Headquarters.
Mr. Headquarters taught me.
You already know what it is. Motherfucking picks, week 10. It's the motherfucking pie.